but I'm very well leveraged and I delegate a lot. And that's why I'm able to do everything I do. So got my license in 2015. I grew a huge Airbnb portfolio when I was telling everybody, hey man, you should get in the Airbnb game. And everybody was like, dude, why would I give my house to a stranger? Or why would I jump in an Uber? It was those days, right? And I said, hey man, get in the game. Trust me, get in the game. And so the Airbnb business was killer. You used to be able to take furniture, put it in a property and kill it. Well, guess what? Those days are over, right? You can't do that anymore, right? Regulations have attacked a lot of people. The market has gotten saturated. But I was doing it when I was making a killing. And I still do it to this day, but I do it at a different level. I do luxury product only and very niche markets like North Carolina, mountain homes. I'm giving the consumer experience. So I have an Airbnb portfolio. I have 17 properties on Airbnb. They do really well, but again, very niche product. I've also branched out these last year. I branched out, I saw a market in co-living. Is anybody familiar with co-living? You take a property, you put up walls, you chop it up, you do co-living, right? Where people share the common areas and stuff like that. So I saw a huge opportunity in that. Not only that, at one point in my life, I was renting a bedroom, so I know what it felt like to be on the other side of the table. So this past year, I scaled to 33 units. I got 33 units on co-living. But I've gotten to a point in my real estate journey to where I've been buying single family for years. I've always been a buy and hold investor. Like I said, I like to marry my money, not date my money. That's my mentality when I invest into something, right? I want long-term money. And not only that, all the other benefits I get from buy and hold, like 27.5-year depreciation, I can do cost segregations. I could do so many things and manipulate a piece of real estate so many different ways as a buy and hold investor. So again, going back to my exit strategy, I've always been the buy and hold guy. So here recently, one of my main focuses, and I just picked up my first RV park out in Texas. I don't know if you guys know where Fort Worth, Texas is, DFW area. You do? You do know? Okay, cool. So I just picked up my first outdoor hospitality business because I've been in the hospitality business for all these years, but I've been doing indoor hospitality, right? Airbnb, right? Which is what I said. So I was able to take that skill set and correlate that into outdoor hospitality. I didn't have to go to really learn something new. I always tell people, if you run a short-term rental business at a very high level, you can run an RV park, no problem, right? I see sub 2 on your shirt. How many people are in sub 2 here? Cool. So I'm a sub 2 student too. I buy all my deals creatively. I don't buy anything with banks. When I first started in real estate investing, I used to buy my properties with banks. But again, I had that limited belief. I had that I didn't have that right tool in my tool belt. So I was buying everything with banks when I first began. But now I buy everything creatively because we know that's the way, right? I don't have to do all the hassle with the banks and stuff like that. So the new outdoor hospitality space that I bought, it's $2.6 million, and it's a whole entirely creative deal. It's a hybrid. A portion of it's subject to, and a portion of it is seller finance. And so that's one of my things that I'm really, really focused on, because as I've been real estate investing these past several years, one of the downfalls, and I want to bring it to your attention, is even though that I have all these micro businesses, meaning like Airbnb businesses, houses that are making $120,000 a year, right? I'm making all this money with all these micro businesses. The problem is when I go to sell, I have to sell on a comparable approach, just like she was just pointing out. I'm tired of that. Right? I put my blood, sweat, and tears in these properties. I want to be able to sell on the income approach. And so on commercial, you can sell on NOI. The higher that I get that NOI, the more the valuation of my property is, right? I don't have to worry about Susie Q up the road selling her 3.2 for, 180 grand. So that's another reason why I pivoted. But really the big thing for me was efficiency. I wanted efficiency in my real estate investing strategy. I wanted to be more efficient. Me buying a single family here, me buying a single family there, it's just, they're all over the place. So from an efficiency standpoint and scalability standpoint, that's why I branched into commercial. But I'm here to talk to you guys about today because, again, it's a lot of stuff I mentioned. I mean, I have more stuff, but I don't want to keep going on and boring you guys about what I do and with all this stuff. But I leverage. I have teams, right? I'm very well delegated where I don't have to do all the nitty and gritty. Like today, I make an example. I walked a Patspit property that I got up and running. I bought sub 2. I never even seen this property. I walked it. My team did everything. Right? They did the renovations, they did the furniture. Today was my first time with my videographer. I said, man, I've never been in this property. But that's how well of systems I have built. And by the way, I've packaged it all together for you guys to be able to utilize the same systems and processes I have. Because I get so many questions. People are like, hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? How do I do this? How do I do that? You'd be surprised how much my phone blows up in messages I get on Instagram and Facebook and phone calls and people tagging me on Sub2 community. But I want to keep it very honed in on co-living. So everybody said they're familiar with co-living? And I want to be able to tell you guys and have you guys ask me any questions around it. There's a lot of deep diving in co-living. A lot of how do you evaluate a property? Where do you put up walls? What markets do I do it in? I've taken all that and I've packaged it together. And if you guys want, I can give that to you at no problem. Just send me a text or if you're interested in it. So does anybody have anything on co-living that's like been at your head and you're like, I want to get this question answered? No? Yes?
What's the difference between co-living and like house hacking? Because it's like house hacking is like you can rent out the room for
Yeah, I mean, house hacking, you're buying a home, and typically house hack is more you're living in the home and you're renting out the bedrooms. Co-living, you don't live at that property. You're actually taking it, you're renting out the bedrooms, you live on off-site somewhere else. Now, a lot of people get confused when they hear pad split, for instance. Everybody know about pad split? The reason why pad split has blown up these last few years is because they have huge investors behind them now, right? You have people like Mark Cuban dumping millions of dollars into that company. He's just one of them. So they have the money behind them, they have the capital behind them where they're now able to take market share. But all they've done is create a marketplace for co-living. They've done the same thing as Airbnb. They don't own any properties.